So this is going to be our third episode in our series of completely disabling systems in the game, and this is definitely going to be the hardest one we can possibly do. We're going to get rid of the carbon dioxide scrubber, and this is by far the most critical system in the game. I'm just going to get everything out from here. And this, I would say, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes should be the survival time. This is just a really, really difficult system to not have. So yeah, before we start dealing with the carbon dioxide situation, we will get a new bottle of oxygen in here. I'm not even sure if I'm going to bother with all my regular stuff because there's a hard limit to this. We need carbon dioxide in order to make oxygen, and that means that even if I can somehow get rid of the carbon dioxide, I'm still going to have the problem of not having oxygen. So eventually we have to die. I think there's just no way to do extended survival doing this. But of course, the bigger problem that we have is we need to keep getting rid of carbon dioxide, and there's only going to be one way to do that, which is by opening the airlock and venting air out of the pod. And unfortunately, that vents everything. It doesn't just vent CO2. Another option that I have is I can just vent oxygen into the air, but that's a problem because we have, as I said, limited oxygen. We only have as much as the CO2 that we start with, and of course the oxygen bottle that we had at the beginning. That's going to be it for the whole game. So my prediction is somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. We don't even need to have this system on. That's not going to be relevant. Because whatever is breaking now is not going to be as serious as the stuff that is already. So yeah, okay, this switch is an issue. Doesn't really matter. What else is broken here? Low pump. That does matter, but luckily, since the way that I've kind of set up the rules for this, we are allowed to swap out using the spare parts that we got from the system. We just can't use the system itself. Okay, CO2 is becoming an issue. We're going to need to vent some of it out here. I'm just going to go ahead and vent a lot. And then we'll see where we're at. CO2 is still an issue. We may not even make it to 5 minutes. Let's see where we are at now. Still a problem. I think we're getting rid of the CO2. This may just instantly kill us. Let's see what happens. CO2 is still a problem. How much pressure? Pressure is very low. Let's vent oxygen in. Okay, stop venting. Now we have incredibly high oxygen concentration. Let's get some nitrogen back into the air. This is such a weird way to do things. Does that balance things out a bit? This is the main thing. CO2 is going to keep rising. And there's no way for us to get rid of it. We can just try to reduce the concentration by putting other gases into the air. But eventually the pressure will start becoming an issue as well. Luckily this has gotten wedged here, sort of. I think 10 minutes is way too ambitious for this. We'd be lucky if we make it to 5. Pressure is climbing. Let's release it again. Did I lock this again? Let's release some pressure. Where are we at on the pressure? Yeah, that's low enough for now. Get this closed up. Then how are we on oxygen? Fine. We need nitrogen. Just let that keep going for a bit. See, this is, I mean, it's not really reducing the CO2, it's just balancing it out with nitrogen. How much? Stop doing this. Do I still have a little bit left? Yeah, I do. I may as well disable these alarms. Like, this is useless if I have to constantly manage this. Okay, let's vent some pressure again. I wonder if I just unlock this, if that also releases pressure. Yes, it does. You don't actually have to open the door. You can just unlock it. That's useful to know. Let's get some more oxygen. CO2 still a big problem. Get some more nitrogen. So this is the thing, that CO2 just constantly keeps rising, and we're only really getting rid of it by the pressure dropping. So let's lock this back up. We'll vent both of these for a little bit. See what we're up to. Okay, so oxygen's getting a little bit high. CO2 went down with that. I'll just let more nitrogen in. By the way, if anybody can think of a better way of doing this, do let me know. I'd love to try this again, but I knew from the start that this would be incredibly hard. Almost have to constantly do this. And again, I should release some of the gas. I didn't know it was this easy to drop the pressure by just releasing that. That could be useful in future survival runs. Let's keep dropping this for a bit to about maybe just below the 0.75 mark, then we'll get some nitrogen back into the air again. That is actually what's going to end up killing us in this case, is the fact that we will run out of nitrogen. And we do need that. Because... Okay, so we're out of nitrogen, unfortunately, which means that the only way we can now get rid of CO2 is by increasing the O2, which may eventually be what ends up killing us, because it's either that or getting CO2 poisoning. And I'm pretty sure we don't have any CO2 left to convert into O2 either. And I don't think there is a way to get more... There's liquid nitrogen. I didn't consider this. Okay, let's try to use this. Ice nebula. Hey, that's working pretty well. Then we can pressure. Oh shit, pressure is very, very high. We need to release some. Now it's under control again. Let's vent some more. Okay, before I die, we need more oxygen. Where are we at? Pressure is high again. Release some of that. I don't know where the light is coming from. It seems surprisingly light in here. The breathability is dropping. I always forget to keep an eye on this. Generally, I just look at these outputs, but it is actually important to look at the breathability. That lets us know when we're actually going to die in this case. And we're going to get some more nitrogen into the mix here. We did actually make it past 10 minutes, and again, I did not expect that given the modifiers that we gave ourselves, but I completely forgot about the liquid nitrogen that we have. I have to assume that... Whoa. Oh, okay. So I think because it's liquid nitrogen, maybe that just rapidly increased the pressure. So we ended up dying from the excessive internal pressure, which I always knew was a possibility, but I just assumed we would be suffocating from something. But yeah, this was an interesting one. And I'll try some of the other systems as well for upcoming videos. So again, as always, if you do like this sort of content, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.